The film ends with him showing up at Lara Jean's doorstep with his letter with a bouquet of flowers. Could this foreshadow a future sequel? Hey guys, it's Kristen, and today we are going to be diving into To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I'm really excited to be doing a book versus movie review of this film, and even more excited that this is the second romantic comedy starring Asian Americans that I'm reviewing this week. So if you haven't checked out my review of Crazy Rich Asians, go check that out as well. But just like, yes, representation, am I right? Woo! Two really quick things before we get into this review. The first is that I really just want to have more of an open dialogue with you guys. I want to know what videos you want to see, what are you excited for. So if there's anything you want me to review or react to, or just anything you're really excited about, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know, and let's talk. The second thing is that I'm going to be doing a huge giveaway on my channel when I hit 5,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy this video, maybe check out another one. And if you like what you see, click that subscribe button. And with that, let's get into To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This film is actually adapted from the young adult romance trilogy of the same name by Jenny Han. The story is about a half-Korean teenager named Lara Jean, played by Lana Condor, who has these secret letters that she writes to all the boys she's ever loved, and she keeps them in a teal hat box that was given to her by her late mother. The letters are mysteriously mailed out, and now Lara Jean has to deal with the chaos that comes with all of her former crushes knowing about her true feelings. When her sister's ex-boyfriend Josh, played by Broussard, learns about the crush, Lara Jean is desperate to do anything to convince him and herself that she's over him, including agreeing to fake date the most popular guy in school, Peter, played by Centineo. Let's start out with this film in general. I think To All the Boys I Loved Before might be one of my favorite Netflix romantic comedies that they've come out with so far. I think it was really wholesome and, you know, very charming. There was some whimsical aspects as well. I think Lana Condor was the perfect choice for the middle song sister Lara Jean. She was really cute and funny and quirky, and she had really great facial expressions. I also think the wardrobe team did a really great job with all of the clothes in this film, especially for Lara Jean. She had such a cute aesthetic, kind of vintagey. It was a lot of fun. Definitely things that I would love to pull out and be able to wear. I think overall there was this really cool indie vibe going on throughout the whole film. I think a great example of the aesthetic of the film was the diner that they frequented a bunch of times, where there was like a lot of pink and turquoise, and it just had this old school vibe, and I really enjoyed that. Getting into Lara Jean's family, I think there were a lot of really great casting choices made here. John Corbett, Janel Parrish, Anna Cathcart. I really liked how family-centric this film was. You know, they all had a really strong bond, and especially the sisterhood in this film was just really important and a big central theme, and just how close all the girls were. It was really refreshing to see that. When we get into Lara Jean's 5 crushes, one thing that I really enjoyed was that when we were seeing them from Lara Jean's perspective, from her memories, she saw them as she remembered them, as she met them. And then we would see them later on in the film, a little bit older, more modern versions of these guys. I thought that was a cool dynamic. It kind of felt like her letters immortalized them or preserved them as they were when she first met them. Obviously the main focus is around Josh and Peter, and I think Broussard and Centineo were really great choices in this film. I thought they both did a really great job. Israel has such a great contagious smile, and then you have Noah, who is just such a charming guy that you couldn't help but root for Peter and Lara Jean. I will say though, I think that there was a big difference between Peter's character in the movie and in the books. I think in the book he was, you know, this popular guy who was kind of obnoxious, he was a bit of a player, and over time as he and Lara Jean connected, you got to see more of a sweeter side of him. Whereas in the film, I don't think he ever really had a journey of like kind of being obnoxious and then becoming this guy that would be good for Lara Jean. I think he was always, you know, this very charming, sweet guy. Of course, this is a book versus movie review, so we gotta get into that. I will say that there's a lot of differences and similarities, so I'm not gonna talk about every single one, but I'm gonna talk about the ones that were really big highlights to me. But if you wanna talk about more of them, feel free to drop in the comments and we can have a discussion there. And of course, because we're gonna be really diving into the different scenes in here, if you don't wanna be spoiled, pause and come back, or if you don't care about spoilers, let's keep going. But I think with this film, they really paced everything really well, and they were able to highlight the things that were really important and keep those intact. So I think that they really did a great job with how they condensed this film into, you know, the hour and a half, 2 hour long film that it was. I would say the biggest difference that really stood out to me in this film was the reasons behind Lara Jean's letters getting out. You know, in the books, Lara Jean's little sister Kitty releases the letters out of spite, out of revenge, because Lara Jean almost accidentally revealed that Kitty had a crush on Josh. In the film, Kitty actually feels bad that Lara Jean doesn't have much of a social life and that she spends, Friday nights at home with her little sister watching the Golden Girls. And so she thinks that sending out these letters will help Lara Jean find love and, 5 letters, 5 chances at love. Why not go for it? I have to say, I really liked this change because I feel like a big theme of this story is how close the sisters are, The family bond in this film is really strong, and so I liked that Kitty was really trying to help Lara Jean versus hurt her, and I think that it made more sense in terms of their characters. Also in this film, we got to see Kitty walk into Lara Jean's room and go into her closet, look at the hat box. We knew what was going on here, versus in the books, it was more of a mystery. We didn't know who leaked the letters until it was all revealed. I would say another difference here were the letters themselves. In the film, we don't really get to see the full context of the letters that Lara Jean wrote, but in the books we do, and I gotta say, her letter to Peter was kind of mean. She accuses him of being a player. She suggests that he could have STDs. That doesn't really sound like a love letter. But in the film, Peter only mentions that Lara Jean wrote that he had golden specks in his eyes, so it seems like the letter in the film is a little bit nicer than the one in the book. I preferred this option in the film because I think the meaner letter in the books just made Lara Jean seem immature, and I mean, it's supposed to be a love letter, You want cute stuff like sparkling eyes, not you have STDs, While Josh spends less time with Lara Jean after he and Margot break up, he still has a pretty big presence in the book, from accidentally wearing matching Halloween costumes, to warning her to stay away from Peter, to going so far as to kiss Lara Jean. He's everywhere. I would say that the film features significantly less of Josh, and he also has a little bit of a different kind of reaction to Lara Jean's letter. I think in the book, he's kind of like, I have feelings too, like, let me kiss you. Whereas in the movie, he seems a little bit more confused and kind of wants to protect her as if she's more of a sister, and he also does not kiss her in the movie, so no worries there. There are several other instances with Peter and Lara Jean that are different from the book to the movie. For instance, in the movie, Lara Jean almost accidentally runs Peter over with his car, and that's how we kind of are first introduced to him. That's where Kitty first meets him. Versus in the book, Lara Jean is in a car accident and Peter stops on the side of the road to check in on her and make sure she's okay. Also, Lara Jean and Peter's first kiss is pretty different. In the movie, Peter is confronting Lara Jean on the track field, trying to kind of find out what this letter is about, and at the same time, Josh is on his way over also to talk about the letter. She freaks out and kisses Peter so that Josh thinks that she's with him. But in the book, after Lara Jean talks to Peter, she talks to Josh and she tells him that she's dating Peter, and then she goes and finds him somewhere in the hallway at school and kisses him. There's also a big moment with a scrunchie in this film that doesn't happen in the book. Basically, Lara Jean had this scrunchie that was her favorite, and when her and Peter are going to a party, he tells her to take her hair out because he likes how her hair looks down, and he's holding the scrunchie for her, and Genevieve takes the scrunchie from Peter and holds on to it and wears it on the ski trip, and then kind of uses it against Lara Jean to make it seem like Peter's been using her this whole time. This happened at a really crucial moment when Lara Jean and Peter were finally admitting that they actually had true feelings for each other, and it caused a bit of a bump in the road for them. The hot tub situation in this film happens very similarly to what happened in the books, but the big difference here is that the viral video moment happens in the second book by Jenny Han called P.S. I Still Love You. And other than that, it's pretty much the same, except that the person who gets the video taken down in the movie is Margot, and in the book, it's Peter. And now what about the fate of the relationship between Lara Jean and Peter? So in the book, Lara Jean ends up writing this love letter to Peter. She starts it, and then it ends on this cliffhanger, and that sets up the story for P.S. I Still Love You. Whereas in the film, we get to have a nice happy ending. We get to see Lara Jean reading her letter to Peter, and the two of them go off hand in hand to finally start their real relationship. Oh, there's also a John Ambrose cameo as well in this film. In the book, Lara Jean goes to his Model UN scrimmage, sees him, he recognizes her, and then she leaves. In the movie, the film ends with him showing up at Lara Jean's doorstep with his letter, with a bouquet of flowers. He does have a role in P.S. I Still Love You, so could this foreshadow a future sequel? I haven't gotten a chance to read the other 2 books in this series yet, but after watching this film, I really enjoyed the quirky, charming nature of this film. I would definitely watch 2 more movies in this world that Lara Jean lives in. Overall thoughts on this film, I just really had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I love the aesthetic. I love that quirky, you know, vintage vibe. I thought Lara Jean was a really fun, relatable character, and it was cool to see her journey going through high school and dating and figuring out all of this life stuff. Yes, of course, there were things that we could pick out in this film that were not necessarily perfect, like for instance, where was the Asian male representation, or why were almost all of Lara Jean's love interests white? I think these are definitely valid questions and points to make about this film. And while Crazy Rich Asians is the first major film featuring an all-Asian cast in 25 years, I also think To All the Boys I Loved Before has a big milestone for us as well. This film gives us the first mainstream teen romance to feature a young Asian American actress as the lead. I think that's really huge. I think that representation is super important, and I think it gives young girls, especially young Asian girls who are really underrepresented, a chance to finally see themselves on screen in a way that they never have before. I would love to know what you guys thought about To All the Boys I Loved Before. What did you think about the book versus the movie? Leave a comment down below and let me know. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click that subscribe button because I come out with new videos every week. See ya!